Connor, how we doing, mate? Let's get into a bit of footage. Right. Let's see how these RPE8 testers are suiting you. Yeah, good. I like it. Re-walking the feet back, you know, really trying to get the most out of it, not just pushing yourself back and stopping there. Good. Yeah, that's probably it's probably about a 5, maybe a 6. So the point is with this is over time you get a better understanding of kind of where your numbers are and stuff like that. And basically over time, the RPE8 kind of formula will always be kind of spitting out new numbers for you based on sort of like what you did the previous week. So if you do feel like you majorly undershot it, it's fine. Basically, if a previous RP8 single was better, until we get consecutive sessions of it being overshot, we won't change it. So let's just say, for example, you got 90 for an 8 1 week, and then the next week like 85 felt more like an 8.5. That's fine. We'll put that down to a bad week. But if for 3 weeks on the trot you were just consecutively like under, or the prescribed weight was over the RPE for week on week, that's where we'll make the changement, and then the whole formula will kind of catch up with it. Yeah, so nice and gentle with the butt down onto the bench, mate. Just nice and relaxed. Okay, you want to be holding on to as much tension when your feet are up. So when you're back up here, that position isn't very comfortable at all. Okay, this one here. So when that other foot comes down, that's your base of support. But you want to lower yourself down as gently as possible. Okay, you don't want to let any of that tension out. Okay, whereas there, it's a little relaxed. It's better than what it has been. But it's nice and chilled out. Okay, super controlled on the way down. Again, you want to be holding that tension. It keeps the chest up high. Good. Not bad. Yeah. So I still don't think that's a 9. Really looks a little. I mean, so this is where for RPE you get objective and subjective. So the objective is me looking at how the bar moves, looking at your general form, looking for any shaking, any odd joint movements, and then the subjective, which really is the overall kind of bearing. Even if it felt like utter shit, and then even if the bar moved brilliantly, we will go off your subjective measure. Just while we're still, just coming to terms with the RPE sort of base system, I'll add more of my input just through having seen this thousands of times. So we'll go off that for now, and then we'll go from there. And then when we get to the end, I'll explain some of the things I've noticed in the in your RPEs. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, mate. Oof. Good, and remember we're pushing our toes into the end of your shoes every time. It's that drive back, okay? You want to be as if you're going to try and push the bar up towards overhead position. Again, looks very easy. I've got to put the music on for this one now that you've put that. I do listen to it, I just don't put it on in the videos because it usually comes out super loud, but let's just crank. mate. I'm lucky that I coach in the gym where I train, so I'm lucky that I get to pick the music I want. Couldn't be doing with it. Good, mate. I think you've taken last week's advice on board. You seem to, you know, again, it's about making the reps. And this is at the moment, this is volume. It's good quality work. The movement patterns are good. Good. This is what makes you stronger. Not those grinders, you know, where one elbow's having to kick out and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't make you stronger. This over and over builds muscle, which makes you stronger. And then we fine tune that muscle to get it to do what we want it to. Okay, so I think, you know, you fucked up that second one, a little wobbly there. Much better. Yeah, not bad. Pretty smooth. Knees can still come out a little more, mate. Okay, so remember when you're in that top position, we're trying to turn the femurs out. So if you look in your at the bottom tab of the spreadsheet, there's like an exercise, like advice tab. There's one on there about like rooting your feet. That guy kind of explains it pretty good. It's only a couple of minute video, but it's quite a good explanation of sort of just to get that kind of nailed in, and the tempo on those, I'd want it a little slower. Okay, I want it tempo. At the end of this video, I'll send through like one of my latest sets of tempo work, just to kind of give you an idea of the speed we're looking at generally. Yeah, it's good. You've got pretty good mobility through the hips. So let's talk about what this RPE kind of does, mate, and how it kind of helps build up a bit of a system. So if you look, what we got through here is these have started to sort of auto-populate a little bit. So, but what we've got here is you've got 130 for a single at 8. So single at 8, 130. Now that would put your max at 145, which is, for me, quite undershot. You definitely more than that. But then to be able to do 117 for 6 at a 9, if we're going off a 145 max, you should only be able to do 105 for a set of 6. Now, I think that would put us... So putting your max in at 160 would be a set of 6 at 9 at 116 point, yeah, so 117. But your single at an 8 should be closer to 145. So what this will do now is this will start auto-populating. So for me, I think you doing a 6 at a 9 is going to be easier for you to gauge at the moment than a single at an 8. And I think that single at an 8 was probably quite undercooked. But this is where the beauty of it is as the numbers come back from you, that will change what we do over here. I'm pointing at the screen as if you can fucking see. Will change what we do over here. So we have a look, for example, a single at 70. Okay, right, so let's do this, for example. A single at 8 at 70 would probably put you at like a 75 max, not even 75. So let's just go with 80 as it's the roundest number. Okay, that would be a single at an 8 at 72. Right, so for you then to be able to do a set of 6 at 65 at a 9. Okay, so again, this should be higher. So if we go off your set of 6, now we're talking. Okay, so basically your set of 6 out of 9 at 65 would give you a top end single of about 90 at the moment. So what this tells me is at the moment, one, we're still figuring out the process. Okay, it's not a big deal at all. But two, it would be that the top end strength needs more work. You are able to rep out 85 to 95 pretty comfortably, okay, and smash it out. We've got to get you working at a realistic, more top end kind of strength level, okay? So we'll keep it the same for this upcoming week, and we'll see kind of how these projected numbers here, where it's also filled out for you, they are just guides, mate. Okay, if it says 135, then you don't have to hit 135, for example. I've fucking done that wrong. So yeah, here for example, for you to be able to hit 110 for a set of 6 at 9 gives you a rough 150, okay? But that is ballpark. Absolute ballpark, okay? So say if you're working up to a single at an 8, which will be 135 next week. Let's just say, for example, you get to 125 and you think, fucking hell, I could not, like, I could do 2 more and that's my lot. Awesome, that's fine. Okay, put it in. Don't worry about the formula. Delete the formula each time, and put it in as your 125. If you hit 135 and think, fucking hell, I could have done 4 or 5 more. Awesome. Okay, it is just, that is your 10% either side ballpark number to kind of aim for and to warm up to. Okay, so over time this will flesh out a lot. Okay, this will develop quite a bit. But it's important to give you some baseline numbers to kind of aim towards, because I think for a lot of people, when they see a number written down on the board, they'll hit it. I'm the same. If I haven't got a number to hit, then I'm just kind of cluelessly kind of waddling through. Whereas when I've got something that I know I've got to aim for, then that's it. It's on the paper, so it's got to be hit. Now, stuff like touch and go bench and tempo back squats and snatch deadlifts, usually they're going to be high enough of a rep that the RPE calculator won't try to populate them because it knows it's not overly relevant. But sometimes if I do go into some lower rep work on those variations, again, take into account, it will go off your competition style movement. So we won't be able to do an RPE single at an 8 for touch and go bench, because otherwise it just gets really, really fucking messy. So it will go off your competition pause single. So again, just kind of take those with a pinch of salt. So for your touch and go work, it might be too light. For your tempo back squat, for your tempo pause back squat, it might be too light. Too heavy even, sorry. So again, just kind of take those with a pinch of salt, but they are rough ballpark numbers. If there isn't a number in there, it's pitched at such a high rep count that it would, your 1 rep max isn't really relevant. It would come down to sort of like muscular endurance and sort of like motor pattern learning rather than actual strength. So sets of 8 on tempo pause back squats, you could have an amazing 1 rep max, and it's not overly relevant at that kind of rep range. So don't overthink that one and don't worry about it too much. But overall good, mate. Nothing major. Just with the bench, we've really just got to focus on getting that leg drive in there. So remember, it's toes to the end, and then as your feet start to come down off of the bench, you're trying to hold on to as much tension. Okay, you should almost get like ass cramp and sort of like lower back cramp. Nice and controlled. Slower on the tempo pause squats. I will send you a video of what my latest tempo squats will look like, and a rough kind of guide to what they should look like. Overall, mate, good week. Feedback's coming through great as always. Just if you remember, mate, just to fill in the session RPE for me, just so I know generally kind of how you're feeling, if anything's beat up. But happy, mate, good.